الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. هل أتاك حديث موسى إذ ناداه ربه بالواد المقدس طوى اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقل هل لك إلى أن تزكى وأهديك إلى ربك فتخشى فأراه الآية الكبرى فكذب وعصى ثم أدبر يسعى فحشر فنادى فقال أنا ربكم الأعلى فأخذه الله نكال الآخرة والأولى إن في ذلك لعبرة لمن يخشى أأنتم أشد خلقا أم السماء بناها رفع سمكها فسواها وأغطش ليلها وأخرج ضحاها والأرض بعد ذلك دحاها أخرج منها ماءها ومرعاها والجبال أرساها متاعا لكم ولأنعامكم. سمع الله لمن حمده كثيرا. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى يوم يتذكر الإنسان ما سعى وبرزت الجحيم لمن يرى فأما من طغى وآثر الحياة الدنيا فإن الجحيم هي المأوى وأما من خاف مقام ربه ونهى النفس عن الهوى فإن الجنة هي المأوى يسألونك عن الساعة أيان مرساها فيم أنت من ذكراها إلى ربك منتهاها إنما أنت منذر من يخشاها كأنهم يوم يرونها لم يلبثوا إلا عشية أو ضحاها. سمع الله لمن حمده. كثير طيب. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. استغفر الله. Inshallah, after the remaining salah, an English bayan will be taking place. Our guest speaker is from South Africa, Hadhrat Qari Rashid Dhabelia Sahib Damat Barakatuhum, who is a senior ustad at Darul Uloom Zakaria, South Africa. All brothers are requested to participate. Inshallah, it will be very beneficial. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. Those brothers who have finished their salah are requested to come closer towards the minbar. Those brothers who are finished from their salah are requested to come closer. Jazakallah. Like mentioned, alhamdulillah, our guest today is Hazrat Qari Rashid Dhabelia Sahib Damat Barakatuhum. He is a Khalifa of Hazrat Mufti Ahmad Khan Puri Sahib Damat Barakatuhum, and also a senior Ustad in Darul Ulum Zakaria and the Ustad of many of our scholars of Preston. So we are very fortunate to be blessed with Hazrat's presence. So all brothers are requested to listen very, very attentively.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillahi nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayhi wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا وشفيعنا ومولانا محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا أما بعد فقد قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم المؤمن مرآة المؤمن أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام. Honorable ulama kiram, respected elders, beloved brothers and friends, you must remain 25%. I was supposed to tell Mauli Javed to bring me a mirror. Brothers know what is a mirror? A mirror, did you find, maybe I don't see, I've seen in the wuzu khana, maybe there's one. So this is called a mirror. What's the object of the mirror? Why do we look into a mirror? For what? And that's our discussion today. If you understand, may Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make me understand and you understand. But first we need to understand what this mirror is doing. So I'll give two explanations and two objects of the mirror, and in the light we'll understand the hadith that we are speaking about. Number one is, when I'm looking at the mirror, do I want to look at the faults in the mirror, or do I want to look at my faults? Means that if there's something, my topi is crooked, so I'm looking in the mirror to fix up my topi. If there's a mark there, there's dirt there, there's dirt there. So I'm looking into the mirror. The intention is, if there's anything wrong on me, I want to fix it up, number one. Number two is, how does a mirror work? It works very, very, very silently. When I'm standing in front of the mirror, there's no talking, there's nothing happening, there's no sound coming out from the mirror, but it's telling me something. It's telling me there's a spot here, there's this here, I didn't put the topi right, I didn't comb my beard right. So it's giving me a message, but it's a silent message. Number three, in a mirror we find that when we're standing in front of the mirror, there's it, I can see myself, and then I move away, and Maulana, the Imam Sahib, comes in front of the mirror. My reflection is not there, it's gone. So now it will show him his face, and then you shift him and put it this side, it will show him his face. So a mirror doesn't keep any reflection, equivalent, a photo of the person. It just shows you at the time when you're looking at it, And after that, that mirror, when somebody else comes, it shows him his. It doesn't keep my face in itself. That's the third thing that we find is the quality of a mirror. If we understood these three things, my respected elders, brothers, friends, myself, a mu'min is a mirror for a mu'min. The hadith which I recited, Sayyidina Sayyidul Awwaleen wal Akhirin, salawatullahi wa salamu alayhi, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu said, Al-mu'min mir'atul mu'min. A mu'min is a mirror for a mu'min. So now what it means, so example, this Maulana sitting here in front of me is my mirror. So that mirror must work like that when he sees anything in me or I see anything in him, it must work like a mirror. How it must work like a mirror? I don't need to go tell the whole of Preston that this man has got this. It's to look at the person's faults. So he's going to tell me this is wrong. So I must be his mirror and he must be my mirror. Ulama have written Islah ke 4 tarike. From the 4 ways of Islah, one is Mawidat, Nasihat, number 2 is Muakhat. Muakhat means bhaicharaги. If brother, if you see anything in me, you must tell me. A person can see a lot of other people's faults, but he can't see his own self. So you, my brother, you must tell me what is in me and what I must tell you what is in you. This is also one way of Islah. Mutaqaddimin, they had this way of Islah also. But we must work like mirrors. Means that whatever he sees in me, he must tell me this is, mirror is speaking quietly, the reflection is there, he's saying this. So I see something in him, he must tell me, he sees something in me, he doesn't have to tell the whole of Preston, this Maulana is like this and this Maulana is doing this, is my mirror. He must tell me what is in me. Number 2 is, like we just said, the mirror it sells silently, so that's why silently, it doesn't tell everybody. And number 3, the mirror doesn't keep any reflection. Yes, I see this in you, you tell the person, and after that you clean your heart of it, finish, it's removed. So that's what we call Musalman ko Hakir samajna. Hakir means inferior. No Muslim, and that's the bottom line of tasawwuf. If we can get that everybody is good, I'm the worst. If we've achieved this, we've achieved everything. All our other problems will be solved. And that is takabbur and this and that, all this will be solved if every Muslim can think that I'm the weakest in this masjid. In my house, I'm the lowest. Husband and wife, father and children, everybody. If we can think this and think that person, and we can work like mirrors to one another, then all our problems are solved. Nabi Kareem Sallallahu says, "Bihasbi min ash-shar, इंसान के बुरा होने के लिए काफ़ी है ऐ यहकिरा अखाहुल मुस्लिम कि अपने मुसलमान भाई को हकीर समझे भाई you like this and you like this and you got this and you from here and you from there. But there's no, and then Nabi Kareem Sallallahu said, At-taqwa hahuna. At-taqwa hahuna. Taqwa is in here. So outwardly we can see the person doing the worst of things. He can be committing whatever. There was a person in the time of Nabi, and it happens today's time. We just quote the hadith and so on to tell us that in the ummah it's happening today. Quran and hadith there's enough examples and ayat and all that. But the message is for the ummah that it can happen in today's time also. A person was brought to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu and he was a habitual alcoholic. Today's time equivalent drugs. And we know what drugs has done to the ummah and our children. Allah hifazat from everybody. And after drugs is pornography, which is a greater addiction for our young people who are not sitting here. But it's our duty to work on it. So he was brought once. That time until now the punishment is 80 lashes. Initially was a little less. So he was brought, he was punished. Second time again punished. Third time, every now and then equivalent he was punished. So a Sahabi came and told him, "Bhai, ma akthara ma yu'ta bi." How many times you coming here? Every now and then you caught drinking, taking drugs, and then you are punished here. Nabi Karim Sallallahu heard this comment and of what this other person was commenting, that he's a bad person, he's drinking, he's womanizing, he's doing this, he's doing example. So then Nabi Karim Sallallahu called a Sahabi and he told him, you don't know annahu yuhibbullah wa rasulah. One narration, that although he's got this bad habit, in my sight is bad, but in his heart he loves Allah and his Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. And one narration is yuhibbuhu Allahu wa rasuluhu wa tadhamma, that Allah and his Rasul loves him, and you saying the man is bad. The real test is at the time of Maut. In the one town, as there was a Maulana, now his marhum, his son told me the incident, same thing, similar. That this man was drinking every Maulana, 10 pounds, 5 pounds, because he's on his habit, he wants money. But when the time came for his Maut, he passed away Friday, Jummah time. So, Hakir samajna, kisi bhi Musalman ko, don't think of any Muslim is lower than me, he's like this, me I'm better, I'm reading namaz, I'm doing this. All this is the tawfiq of Almighty Allah. Whatever we are doing, ye hamara koi kamal nahi hai, ye tawfiq hai ilahi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we take his seat away, we're gone, we won't come to the masjid again. Allah hifazat farmai. And the incident is written of Sheikh Abdullah al-Andalusi, a great sheikh of his time, which I don't want to go into, but just to say that we don't know, there's no guarantee of Iman also. He was traveling and traveling from Baghdad, and his eyes, with all his murids and everybody, and he came to this locality, and his eyes fell on a Yahudi girl. And he just looked at her and he stopped. The murids said, Hadhrat, kya ho raha hai? What's happening? He said, leave me, go back to Baghdad. And the incident goes on, Sheikh Zakaria writes this incident, and every Ramadan he repeats it to his murids for us to learn from here. So anyway, the long aspect is he fell, when his eyes just fell, he's a great sheikh of his time, it fell on a Yahudi lady, and from then he fell in love with her. What happened? When all of them went away, he said, I want to marry this girl. The father was a Yahudi. He said, you can't marry her until you forsake your deen. He forsook, he left his deen, and then that Yahudi father said, you'll have to graze all this, na'udhu billah, the haram animals, a swine, a pig. When the sheikhs came, all his murids came, how many times from Baghdad, Sheikh, what's happening? He said, you don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happening. And that it carried on like that until they came and they made dua for him. And one day a time came that he repented and whatever, he came back to the Khanqa in Baghdad. So they asked him what happened. He said, when we were walking through that town and I was looking at all these non-Muslims and these Yahudis, just that thought came in my heart that look how stupid. For example, Christianity is 3 in 1, 1 in 3. You can be the most intelligent of people. How can you have 3 in 1 and 1 in 3, the Trinity? But you say, I'm thinking that these people are like this, they've got no Iman, they are so like this and like this. When I just thought of that, something went out of my body, and that was my Iman. And I fell in love with this lady. This is the condition that his Iman went. He was grazing the haram animal and everything. So we shouldn't look down upon any Muslim. So a mu'min is a mirror for another mu'min. Never in our life we should say, this one, I'm the weakest, I'm the low. And that's the khulasa of tasawwuf. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu says, at-taqwa hawala. We can't see a person's taqwa. Although, as much as I'm saying we shouldn't, I haven't got time to discuss, but we should put every hadith and Quran in its place. So it doesn't mean tomorrow somebody shaves his beard and he leaves sunnah and everything and say, at-taqwa hawala, my taqwa is here. You have to follow the outward laws of Sharia. You can't say, my taqwa is here, I don't have to read namaz. My taqwa is here. No, that you have to do. But what we're trying to emphasize is, a mu'min never look down upon a mu'min. So Nabi Karim Sallallahu says, a mu'minu mir'atul mu'min. A mu'min is a mirror for a mu'min. We should work like mirrors to one another. Brother, Allah give you hidayat, mashallah. Talk to him directly. We don't have to tell the whole of Preston what's happening. by namaz. You see anything wrong in the brother, in the sister, mashallah, put on a scarf. How nice, how beautiful you'll be looking if you dress like a Muslim woman like that. We should be working like mirrors to one another and don't keep anything in the heart. After telling the person, clean the heart. The mirror cleans, doesn't. And the third thing, like I said, the mirror, the moment I moved away, it shows his reflection, my reflection is gone. We shouldn't go to the next person and say that Muslim is like that. The mirror removes it, finish, it's gone. So it doesn't keep my reflection, and when it goes to him, it won't show my reflection in there. We don't need to go tell the next person. Therefore, Man satara Musliman satarahu Allahu yawm al-qiyamah. A person must cover another one's faults. Jahata ko, there's separate masail for hudud. When we need somebody to make his islah, then separate. But wherever possible, we must cover a Muslim's fault. If we cover a Muslim's fault, on the day of Qiyamah, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cover his faults. On the day, one narration it comes that on the day of Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call a Muslim, Hisab kitabai, tune ye kiya, you did this. He said, Naam, Ya Allah. I did all this, I did all this. And after that, Almighty Allah, so he'll make ikrar, he's guilty. He will confess to all the sins that he committed. Finally, Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, book closed, there's Jannat, go. So the shura right there, who will be that person? It will be that person that covers people's faults. And we should always cover. Today we're very happy to expose a Muslim and this and that and so on, and we get happy on top of it. No, he must get right and he must and everybody must know. Jahatak ho sake, cover a mu'min's faults. So this is the first interpretation. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me and you the tawfiq to work like mirrors to one another. Al-mu'minu mir'atul mu'min. And our akhlaq must come right. The second interpretation is, mashallah, like when a person looks in a mirror, to understand it, if this is the mirror, yeah, mashallah, we better. So, is my intention to take out the faults in here, or the intention to look at myself? The intention is to look at myself and not at the faults in the mirror. So this is the second interpretation I'm giving. When we look in the mirror, example, the paint is out there, or it's cracked there, you say, hey mirror, you cracked, hey mirror, this is wrong. No. My object to take the mirror was to look at myself and not to look at the mirror. So the second interpretation is we are mirrors for one another. When we look at another mu'min, then we reflect by looking at, mashallah, he's reading 5 times namaz and I'm reading 3 times namaz. Fajr time he's not here, I'm not here. Mashallah, look at him. Mashallah, in Ramadan, see what he's doing for the ummah. So by looking at the next Muslim, we're not looking at the mirror. The object is not the mirror, the object is my own reflection. MashaAllah, look at his akhlaq. MashaAllah, look at his this. MashaAllah, look at his that. So by reflecting and looking at the different people in society, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given every mu'min some good quality in him, immaterial, some good quality. He can be the gangster of the time, but he's got one good quality in him. So we look at that person, mashallah, look at him, he's got that, I haven't got it. So I'm not looking at the faults in the mirror, I don't want to look at his faults, I want to look at my faults. If we become mirrors to one another, when we look at people, when we look at the ummah, when we look at one another, look at and reflect for ourselves that what is short in me. May Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me and you the tawfiq to become mirrors to one another. And when we'll become mirrors to one another, puri ummat ki islah ho jayegi. Then we won't find all those things, and it's a more effective way of working. And according to a person's knowledge, you become a mirror. Whatever I know, brother, this is wrong, you tell the person. And number 2 is, you don't even have to do that. Like I said, the second interpretation is just look around. MashaAllah, that brother has got this, I'm not this. That brother has got that, I haven't got that. So we are mirrors to, when you look at the next Muslim, just reflect on yourself, and that will be a means of Islah. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant me and you the tawfiq. 3 things in the hadith, next hadith, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu says, Thalathun man kunna fihi. If 3 things are found in a person, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make his maut easy. The most difficult sakarat, khamaratul maut, the time of death is not easy, we don't know. Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy. وَأَدْخَلَهُ جَنَّةً, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will enter him into Jannah. Number one is rifkun bil-dha'if, to always be soft and kind to those who are weak. Now when you're saying weak, what does it mean? Doesn't mean only physically weak. Yes, it includes, the hadith is Jawamiul Kalim. It covers so many aspects of our life. When a person is weak, then we'll think, yes, he can't carry that bag, he can't do that, he's an old person, rifkun bil-dha'if, help him. But sometimes a person is weak also mentally, rifkun bil-dha'if. Za'if, aqlan. He's not 100%, he needs to think, he needs some advice to help the person. This also is rifkun bil-dha'if, aqlan, jisman, everything. Number two, Nabi Karim Sallallahu says that to be good to one's parents. And there's no greater ayat in the Quran after وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ ihsan. Ihsan means favor. Therefore, dhikr ihsan, shukr ihsan. And this applies not only to parents. Like I say, Quran is there to teach us lessons for life. If somebody favored us with anything, then we must mention it. Jazakallah, brother, what are your favor? You did this to me, you gave me a lift, you helped me here. The greatest ihsan after Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's ibadat is to parents, but it applies to everything else also. As a husband in the house, very difficult. Me and you, we are macho men. We are never wrong in the house. Rifkun bil-dha'if. She is the weaker of the sex, to help her, to be kind to her. And number two is ihsan. What she is doing, she is filling so many portfolios, minister of cooking, minister of baking, minister of washing, minister of cleaning the house. She is doing so many things. Ihsan. At least just tell her Jazakallah. For the little that she is doing. My father-in-law, whenever we should eat, he should visit and we're eating, then after the meals, mashallah, nani ye bo haru randelu che, mashallah, I bo hawat che. I'm thinking every now and then he just saying bo haru che, bo hawat che, But after that we learned, and that's how we learn from the elders. Okay, every time he's praising my mother-in-law, she's getting happy. And she's saying, we appreciating what they're doing. That is dhikr ihsan. That ihsan, that favor, she wasn't supposed to cook. I'm not going to the masla, but she's cooking for us. She's standing at that stove for 4 hours or 2 hours or 3 hours, and that applies to me and you and our children. She stood by the stove for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and the food is not right, and we come there and you throw the plate. Bekar, you wasted your time. That mother won't tell her child anything because she's got love for her child, but in her heart she's crying. So at least ihsan ka badla ke mashallah. Even if it's not right, how many awliya got jannat through this? I forgot his name now, inshallah you'll remember. When through Kashf we was told, marry this woman, and this woman was the most difficult woman in life. Every people complains by now, those that are married. She was the most difficult woman, but it was shown to him that you must marry this woman and through this you will get Jannah. So Jannat is not only on the musalla, that's what I'm trying to say. And Jannat is not only in breaking the tasbih and in doing the other. Sometimes our Jannat is written through khidmat in the house, through being kind to people and so on. So the second thing Nabi Karim Sallallahu said is, shafqatun alal walidain, to have kindness and affection for our parents. This will make, and how many people we see. There was a doctor in our town who founded one big masjid, but when the time of Maut, same thing, he passed away on a Friday. I told my mother said, this man, although he's a doctor, but he made a lot khidmat of his mother, and through that today many of us, we think we are something is the du'as of our parents, that we are where we are. It's not our any kamal or perfection that hey, I did this and I got this business and I did this. Khaja Muinuddin Chishti Ajmeri, which I shared, is many of Ajmer, He went one day and he invited and he converted 70,000 Hindus to Islam. Imagine one day, today we revert 1-2 people, we get happy, alhamdulillah. 70,000. When he came home, his mother asked him, "Beta, you're looking very happy today, you are looking smiling." He said, "Ma, 70,000 people I reverted to Islam today in one day." So his mother replied, "Tera koi kamal nahi hai. It's not your achievement. When you were in my stomach and when I gave you milk from my breast, every time I made wuzu and I made dua, and that's the effect of it." So today we look down as children to our parents. What does old man know? Dua ne hu avre. Je ke avre niya, bolach karto she, thaki gaya. So then at that time rather give a dua, wa rabbi rahamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Time is up, inshallah. Allah Ta'ala grant me and you the tawfiq to make amal, and grant me also that we become mothers to one another. When we look at other Muslims, let us reflect on ourselves. This man is making khidmat of his parents, me I'm disobedient. This man is good, his akhlaq is good in the house, I have a good akhlaq, I'm swearing in the house. This man is good, does good, we are mothers to one another. Let us look at other people and take lesson from there. It's called Maw'idatul Ghayr. By taking advice from other people's lives. May Almighty Allah give me first the tawfiq and all of us the tawfiq. At that point, वक्त हो गया. इंशाल्लाह बाद में कहेंगे, इंशाल्लाह आपको आप कह देना फिर. اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد. جزا الله عنا نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأهله. اللهم آتي نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها. اللهم إنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك या अकरम अकरमीन या अरहमर राहिमीन. हम गुनहगार हैं, ख़ताकार हैं, कसूरवार हैं, मुजरिम हैं, गुनहगार हैं. या अल्लाह माफ़ फरमा. या अल्लाह शाबान के बकिया दिनों में बरकत नसीब फरमा. या अल्लाह बल्लिगना रमज़ान. या अल्लाह रमज़ान तक हमें पहुँचा दे. या अल्लाह give us one more Ramadan, Ya Allah, in our life, Ya Allah, that we can value this Ramadan, Ya Allah. Grant us the tawfiq to read Quran, Ya Allah. Grant us the tawfiq to become mothers to one another, Ya Allah. Grant us the tawfiq to value this Ramadan, Ya Allah. Value the Quran, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us the love of Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ya Allah, save us from Jahannam, Ya Allah. We are begging Jannatul Firdaus without reckoning, Ya Allah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. See, the third thing Maulana said, so is وَإِحْسَانٌ إِلَى الْمَمْلُوكِ. وَإِحْسَانٌ إِلَى, to always be good to one's slave. Now today's time there's no slavery. So if a person is in power, then whoever is under you, to be good to them. That's the third. Ihsanun ilal mamluk. So if you are an employer, you got employees, Ramadan is coming, by take off 1 hour. Paise to aayenge. Give him 1 hour so he can go make iftari properly at his house. Ye ihsanun ilal mamluk in today's time. If you mashallah, sleep after Fajr, rest, come 1 hour late to the shop, this is ihsanun. If we will be good to our workers or whoever is under, below us, in the madrasa, in our workplace, then this is ihsanun ilal mamluk. Ho gaya? Jazakumullah.